Final score: Southampton 2, Wrexham 1. Wow, we're back in the second tier and it's fantastic. But this was maybe a bit of a reminder also that, yeah, as we already knew, this is a big step up and we're coming up against some high quality. Having said that, it really hurts to be leading so late in the game and end up losing it. But while it reminds us of the quality of these opponents, it also shows that we've got something about us, and well, we so nearly came out with a heck of a win. So Wrexham giving debuts out left, right, and centre, of course, in the starting lineup. All these exciting new signings, and the opening half, and especially the opening exchanges, were gripping. Southampton showed their quality. I mean, they've got a lot of good Premier League quality players. They kept the ball well. And they had a chance after 50 seconds. It happened after Ryan Barnett lost the ball on the flank. To be fair, not that critical. It was good pressing. He was fed the ball in a bit of a dead end in the Southampton half. Tried to wriggle through, couldn't quite manage it, lost it. And Charles, who I thought was excellent in midfield for Southampton, immediately fed it on to Ryan Fraser, who was tremendous. He gets the ball between the lines, left channel, about 35 yards out, drives to the edge of the area and then tries to rip a curler, which worries Danny Ward enough to make him dive full length, but it goes wide of the right-hand post. And the next chance, in the fourth minute, comes to Wrexham. This time, Dobson and Barnett pressing superbly to win the ball back on that right flank in midfield. And then a really snappy move. Dobson popping it inside to Moore helping it round the corner. And Josh Windass cutting in and driving a good shot, which is blocked behind for a corner. And from that corner, we get our first of many moments of controversy. Corner played short. And in the end, Windass has it, sweeps it in to the far post. Great ball in. Moore is wrestling back when Barnett it was. Moore wrestling with Edwards. Wants a penalty as he goes down. I don't think there is a penalty, but it's a really interesting precursor to what's to come between Edwards and Moore, because Edwards, who is one of the most highly rated defenders in the country, does not cope at all with Kiefer Moore, and it will cost Southampton. This incident, I mean, Edwards initiates the contact. Moore's at the far post backing off. Edwards stands his ground and grabs hold of Moore's shirt, putting his arm round Moore's shoulder. Moore then grabs back. I mean, maybe if he hadn't grabbed back and kept going backwards, the same thing sort of happened. He'd have been pulled to the floor and then it would have been a penalty. But I think, to be fair, they're both holding each other, so I think you've got to accept that. The game continues at this tremendously rumbustious pace, and in the 8th minute, Wrexham really should have gone ahead. This time it's Windass sweeping the ball in from a free kick to the edge, within the 6-yard box, and Connor Cody manages to get between two markers and has a free volley from about 3 yards out and just can't get underneath it, on top of it rather, and launches it over the bar. It's a big, big moment. A couple of minutes later, and it's Armstrong then causing problems for Southampton. Wins a brave header, ducking in when the boot's high and nodding the ball down to Robinson. He helps it quickly onto Charles, who again quickly helps it on down the channel, and Wellington from a tightish angle drills a powerful shot into the near side netting. But it's terrific end-to-end stuff almost straight away. Ward with a long kick. Moore backpedaling, superb little flick on to find Windass running down the left-hand side, and he cuts inside. He's given space to cut inside, turn and set himself, and from 25 yards tips the most magnificent looping shot, which dips and hits the bar and bounces behind. I mean, it's an absolute beauty. You see it from behind him, and you can see it drops from quite a height. Keeper can't possibly get anywhere. Brilliant run by Liberato Cacace, who, in doing that, just draws the Southampton right-sided defender away. He's not sure whether to cover Windass, because if he does, he's going to put Cacace in round the back of the defence on the left flank. And, yeah, it's so close to an opener. So that's only 12 minutes in, and it could have been 2-2 already, quite frankly. Next, it's Southampton as the two sides. It's like a heavyweight championship fight. Two sluggers just trading blows. Fraser does really well. He drops off into midfield and thinks a great ball down the right. It's one for Sugawara and Kakache to chase after. Kakache is quick, but Sugawara, who had a quiet game as right wing back until he was taken off, I thought. This is the one moment when his attacking qualities and speed really show, because he manages to get there ahead of Kakache and pull it back. Charles drills a square pullback towards the penalty spot, and the dangerous youngster Jay Robinson hits it first time. Good save by Ward, pushing the ball out to the left flank, but it comes straight back in. Robinson has another shot, again from around 15 yards. It's blocked well, spins back out, and then Downs drives in a shot from the edge of the box, which Cleworth manages to get a block onto, and it just deflects off his leg and spins just over the bar, really, really close to being that opener. The opener's coming, and it comes in the 22nd minute for Wrexham. It's being painted as a controversial moment, but it absolutely isn't. Great play again by Windass, dropping deep and dropping a perfect ball to the top. First question, is Moore offside? I must admit, at the time, I thought, oh, this is very tight. No, he times his run beautifully, and Wellington on the far side of the pitch is too deep, and he's played him on. So Moore is running now into the channel, one-on-one with the keeper. Moore's not quick, and so is he going to be able to actually get his shot off? Stevens and Edwards are chasing him. Moore is very clever in that he holds it up, and he's obviously wanted to get a shot off, but he's also aware that if there's contact on him from behind, he's won a penalty. I have to confess, again, at the time, when I saw the ref point to the spot when Moore goes down as he's in the act of shooting, I'm thinking, oh, soft penalty. But then I realised when watching the replay, it's because I thought Stevens, who running in the centre is coming across to make a challenge, I thought it was him who was penalised. And I was like, well, he hasn't really got to Moore. It must have been a very soft contact. But it wasn't. It was Edwards running up behind Moore, who just shoves him in the back with both hands and then immediately goes insane at the referee. I mean, you've got to give a penalty for that. It was crazy. I mean, Stevens is going to try and siphon Moore away to a more tight shooting angle. Leave it. Help Stevens out. But he just runs up and shoves him in the back. So it's a penalty, quite rightly. Really surprising he isn't at least booked, Edwards. And it's reasonable to ask, I think, should it be a red? Because he's not trying to play the ball to push, so the double jeopardy doesn't come into effect. It all boils down to whether you think Stevens is close enough to stop Moore having a goal-scoring opportunity. And I think this is where the law differs slightly from the actual interpretation that referees give. And the referees, understandably, are looking for consistency, and they view these situations in a specific way. Even though the rule says, are you denying a goal-scoring opportunity, they look at the sort of precedent. Referees tend to make decisions based on whether there's a defender in close proximity sort of level. Are you actually one-on-one with the keeper or not? Stevens is kind of level. Whether he's close enough to make a challenge to stop a shot coming in, which I would argue from that close range means it's a goal-scoring opportunity, I think that's rather dubious. I think if you literally ask yourself, is that a good goal-scoring opportunity? Yes, Edwards goes off. But to be fair, in terms of how referees tend to adjudicate these decisions, no, it was consistent, I think, not to give the foul, although not to give a yellow was very surprising. Windass steps up, drills it past Bazuna, and it's 1-0. And soon afterwards, there's an interesting little incident, which really, I've got to be honest, I find a little bit peculiar. Free kick, which Ward takes standing up, and about 30 yards out, Moore again gets past Edwards, free header into the danger area, or maybe take it on his chest and run in and be on, having a chance of drawing the keeper again. Edwards just sticks his arms out, grabs hold of him, pulls him to the ground. The referee quite rightly gives the foul. Still no yellow for Edwards, even though he's clearly not coping with Moore, and twice he's resorted to pulling him to the floor or pushing him to the floor. That I don't agree with. I can assure you Phil Parkinson didn't agree, although wasn't going to say anything, because he'd already been booked by now. Again, a similar situation. Flynn Downs in midfield was really putting himself about. He went through the back of Kiefer Moore on the halfway line quite early in the game, and it was very much a sort of challenge, which is a cast iron yellow, except it's early in the game and referees aren't brave enough to give early yellows. Indeed, get praised for not giving early yellows. I don't understand why ignoring the rules works that way. But okay, so it's a bad decision, but it's one most referees, not all, will fail to give. He goes to the back of Moore again about 10 minutes later, by which point I'm thinking, okay, surely now. But no. And then Parkinson's get booked in the 25th minute when O'Brien, and I don't think this was intended, but he loses control of himself as he builds up momentum and a bit of a scrap for the ball in midfield. And I think inadvertently goes over the top and crunches his studs on O'Brien's ankle. And it's like, well, okay. It's not a red, I don't think, but he's a bit out of control. And he should have been booked after those first two challenges. The ref still doesn't bring a card out. And Parkinson gets the booking for dissent. So there's my issues with the referee over. I've got to say, having said that, and any Southampton fans watching this, I think, will have a chuckle to themselves when they hear this. I thought the ref was actually good, apart from that failure to give those yellows, and the one very big decision he didn't give in Southampton's favour early in the second half. Southampton were furious constantly with the ref because, and I'm sorry, they went down far too easily. And I was really quite surprised by them, really. A number of times they had players running to the edge of the box or in the box, feeling a little bit of contact, and the first thing that they do is go down. I mean, it was really striking. There was a lot of that going on. I thought the referee was spot on. They did very well, especially to try to resist the crowd who were absolutely baying for blood. They were furious. And the Southampton players, who often were very angrily dissenting, Kwashi after one penalty shout in particular. The ref didn't book them as he booked Parkinson. I'm just saying, because I'm biased. But yeah, I thought he actually got the majority of those spot on. And I was slightly surprised Southampton's players, as professionals, weren't thinking, okay, he's not giving these sort of challenges, let's stop trying to play for them. But anyway, Wrexham, from that free kick, remember that about half an hour ago that Edwards conceded against Moore? O'Brien stands a great ball in. Brunt attacks it, free header about 8 yards out and puts it over, and it's a real chance. He just can't get on top of it. He's so angry with himself. So in that first half hour, Wrexham are leading 1-0, and although Southampton are showing the quality which will bring them the win, no question, Wrexham are creating a lot of clear-cut chances and probably should have scored more than one goal in this period of the game. The last 10 minutes, Southampton really give us a taste of what the entire second half will be like. They start to pen us in. There's a challenge in midfield which allows... I beg your pardon, I've got that slightly wrong. The ball's going out for a throw and Cleworth looks to usher it out. Fraser does brilliantly to nudge him off the ball and spin, and now he's running in unmarked from the left-hand side. Luckily for Wrexham, Robinson's running through the middle. He's got a clear sight of goal, and Fraser, like I said, I thought was outstanding. Just for once gets something a bit wrong. He plays the pass in a little bit behind Robinson, who has to check his run, lean back to pull it back into position to have a shot, and that gives Lewis O'Brien the time to get back and make a superb saving tackle, and the chance is gone. But the closing minutes of the half, Southampton continue to turn the screw. Wrexham have a couple of amazing let-offs. Firstly, it's Robinson standing a ball in. I mean, this is superb. These two instances are remarkable for the skill the Southampton players showing. Is this an indicator of the heightened quality in the Championship? Because certainly both these occasions, balls come in and I'm thinking goal kick. That's it. And on both occasions, the Southampton players firstly showed remarkable athleticism and an extra foot of pace maybe than we're normally up against to keep the ball in. But not only that, to both hit first-time shots with control, which go very close. The first one is, like I said, Robinson playing a great reverse ball down the left channel, Fraser sprinting after it. I'm dead level with it. The commentary box is sort of level with the penalty area, and I'm like, goal kick. Somehow Fraser not only gets there, but manages from an almost impossible angle to hook a powerful shot on target. It's a big save by Ward, but in all honesty, the main thing he does right is get his angles right, because it hits him. He hasn't got time to react. Because like I said, not only has Fraser somehow managed to reach it, he's also managed to hit a meaningful shot and get a lot of contact on it. So big let-off for Wrexham. An even bigger let-off in the second minute of added time, though, when Stevens feeds the ball in. Armstrong pops it across. Robinson drills in a shot through a crowd, hits the post. It ricochets back out, and Armstrong, attacking at the far post, looks certain to score. Fabulous defending by Connor Cody, who blocks the shot from close range on the line, and then as it spins back to Armstrong, who does the right thing from a tightish angle, spins and drills another first-time shot in on target. Cody's done ever so well to cover the space across and get another block and put it behind. So wow, Wrexham's so lucky not to have conceded an equaliser. But having said that, could, in the 4th minute of the first half, have gone 2 up. This is a great move. O'Brien with a good ball inside to Kakachi on the left-hand side. He helps it quickly on. It's a lovely pass. Moore times his run perfectly. He's around the back of the defence. It's 2 against 1. Kwashi in the middle. Windass on the right-hand side, totally unmarked. And Moore just takes, I think, a touch too many. And it's a shame, because that's exactly why we brought in players like him, and throughout the game he showed that extra level of class. But on this occasion, that ability to just make quick decisions and take the correct course of action just deserted him for a moment. Kwashi makes an absolutely massive interception to stop Windass having the easiest of chances. Second half begins, and, well, it's pretty much straight away the die is cast, and we are in a situation where, frankly, we are just defending for our lives. I don't think it's intentional to park the bus for 45 minutes like that at all, but in the first half, even though obviously Southampton made chances, we were defending better. I thought we were in the mid-block more than the low block, and our midfielders were able to put pressure on the ball. Okay, maybe that's why Southampton carved out so many good chances, because they were able to find some space in the box and behind defenders. Maybe we were looking to address that, but our midfield this time sat off more and helped the defence to defend the penalty area. And we, please don't get me wrong, we defended superbly, but that amount of pressure from such a high quality team, there's always a danger something will get through, and there will be 2 very late moments of quality that will punish us. So that big decision that the ref got wrong on our behalf, 2 minutes into the second half, and Downs is combining on the right hand side. The ball's paid out by Charles then to Fraser, who plays a lovely return pass. Charles made a great run into the right channel, cuts in onto his left foot, drills a shot. It hits Cleworth's hand. It's handball. It's handball. I think the shot's going wide. Absolutely irrelevant. It's handball. Cleworth's arm is out. He's leaning down a bit toward his hands down towards his knee a bit. But no, I'd be furious if we weren't given that. His arm's full stretch and it hits his hand. It's a penalty. But the ref doesn't give it, and we are very, very lucky. And we get another lucky moment within a minute. A long diagonal into the box after a set piece. The corner from that handball has been played in and clears. It's knocked back in. Edwards is still up there. He's got a free header about 15 yards out, and he sensibly, rather than go for goal from that range, sees Armstrong unmarked at the far post and plants a great header across for him. He's completely unmarked, about 6-7 yards out, and he puts his free header comfortably over the bar. It's a bad miss and a lucky moment for Wrexham. But our luck really starts to run out 6 minutes later when Kiefer Moore is breaking. It's a good breakaway by Wrexham. He's driving down the left channel, gets to the edge of the area. He's stopped by an excellent old-fashioned block tackle. But unfortunately, it's worrying when you see the replay, his ankle wobbling. The block tackle, as he's hitting the ball, hurts his ankle. He goes down, he can't continue, and he comes off. Really a matter of concern for Wrexham, because how do you replace a player like Moore, even with his, apart from his quality, his attributes are difficult to replace, and so a real blow for Wrexham. Interestingly, Sam Smith, who hasn't had much pitch time, an hour in pre-season, comes on rather than Ryan Hardy, and he works manfully up front to try and fill Moore's boots. He's not the same type of player, of course, but he does work hard, and he has a moment soon afterwards where he's denied by some great defending. Brunt with a super little ball lifted down the left-hand side. Smith running into the left channel in the box, and Jack Stevens comes across and makes an absolutely fabulous tackle on him to stop him. I mean, I've got to say, I've seen a lot of Jack Stevens playing. When did he become so quick? Because he's covering the ground a few times, like the penalty, which he didn't quite get to, but he's fast. He's covering the ground so well. And this is a great recovery sprint by Stevens and an excellent tackle. Again, I know I keep saying it, the indicator of the higher level. In League One, Sam Smith gets it first and gets a shot off. Tight angle, but Stevens is quality. Anyway, Southampton are really looking to ring the changes and take risks in order to get back into the game. I say take risks, I mean they are brave moves by Will still, but having said that, we are entrenched in our own penalty area so much of the time that they basically decide, right, we're losing, we've got to go for this. They changed formation a couple of times, ending up with 4 at the back. Fraser ends up playing as a wing back and then a full-back, but he's not really a full-back, he's up the pitch. It's very much like awful lot of Wrexham games under Phil Parkinson when things aren't going our way, and we will just change things around so we've got as many attacking players on the pitch as possible and pen teams in. Crucially, Matty Fernandez comes in. What a magnificent player he is. And he starts drifting around, finding space, trying to drag people out of the way. He has a shot with 21 minutes left, just allowed enough time to turn and hit it 25 yards out. It's a good save, low to his right by Ward, who's able to hold on to it nicely. Wrexham look to refresh. Windass, who had taken shall we say, comedy blow between the legs, comes off. And Hardy comes on, and I think this is most definitely an attempt to try to give Wrexham a little bit more of an out ball. Hardy more of an out-and-out striker than Windass, who's doing an awful lot of work without the ball in the second half, just trying to support midfield. And so Hardy up front gives us maybe something we can hit a bit more directly. And also we change it right back with Ryan Barnett replaced by Ryan Longman. The pressure continues, just over a quarter of an hour left. Corner comes in, Stevens gets a powerful header from round, just beyond the penalty spot. Ward gets up, holds on to it. You'd expect him to save it, but it's a good stretch. And again, quality of Ward. An awful lot of goalkeepers would be very happy just to get a hand up and help it on its way over the bar. Ward goes up and catches it well. We do continue to have threat on the break. And like I say, Southampton are taking risks, apart from the formation changes that they have. They start leaving no one back from corners and putting Bazunu up in the centre circle. In open play occasionally, you pretty much have that too. So they are taking chances and they nearly get caught out. A very high line, and Hardy does really well to get the ball on the right and spot the possibility and drop it in behind. And Lewis O'Brien times his run to perfection and is one-on-one with the keeper. He's well clear. And you just think, right, come on, this is it, finish it. Stevens, again, just comes from nowhere. It's fabulous. And O'Brien maybe doesn't quite have the cuteness of Moore to draw the challenge. Just got to go through the back of him. Stevens does brilliantly. There's a little bit of contact, thigh to thigh, but no, it's a really well-judged tackle by Stevens, and the chance is gone, as O'Brien asks for a penalty. Wrexham dig in pretty well in the last 10 minutes. It's horrible pressure, but we do dig in. 5 minutes left. James McLean comes on for Liberato Cacace. And 88 minutes, we have another massive chance. And this is the final big turning point. It's a great take by Smith from a long ball, but he's got 2 defenders around him, and he just can only try having brought it down to hook it on quickly for Hardy, because he knows they're leaving 2 and 2 at the back. An instant pass that finds his teammate really opens them up. Charles gets back to get a block on it, but it ricochets off him. Kwashi on the edge of the area can't control it as it comes quickly at him, and it drops perfectly for Hardy, one-on-one with the keeper. He carries it forwards. The ball's just not quite sitting for him. I think, although this doesn't go our way, this is a high quality piece of play by Hardy, because the ball's bobbling a bit and he's got no time to try and control it, because Bazunu, who's quick, is coming out, and he manages to hit it into the ground. So he's not quite got the best contact, it's not zipping in, but he's managed to direct it really well. I'm right behind this. Like I said, I was level at the edge of the box. This is going in off inside the post. It's a beautifully directed shot, and he's got enough on it to move. It's moving. What a save by Bazunu. Absolute top draw save by Bazunu. Manages to get down, get a left hand to it, and push it round for the corner. It's superb. And if that had gone in, ah well. But it didn't. The corner doesn't come to anything. And then the last minute, the 89th minute rather, free kick given. George Dobson with a bit of an unnecessary challenge coming in from behind and hooking a player's legs from behind him. It's a shooting position. It's very central. Ward lines his wall up. And the substitute, Ryan Manning, who will, in these closing stages, suddenly win the game, steps up and just hits an absolute worldie of a free kick into the side netting. Some people were asking me whether they thought Ward was at fault. 100% no. You don't save free kicks struck like that on the wall side of the goal that hit the side netting. It was a magnificent free kick, utterly superb. And Southampton have got the equaliser. And I got to admit, even before I saw the 6 minutes, I thought, this doesn't feel like a 1-1 game. With them leaving gaps and them putting so much pressure on us, there's going to be another goal. And sadly, I had a horrible feeling who it would go to. We dig in throughout added time. In the 5th minute, we have a let-off. A corner is swung in. Stevens as a header, heads it in goalwards. It hits Fraser in the goalmouth, drops loose. And Archer looking to stretch and poke it into the net, just can't quite reach it. And you think, wow, what a let-off. We've managed to get a draw now. But no, because in the 6th minute of the 6 added time, on the fact, according to the clock, I don't want to say this, there's 14 seconds left. Charles drops off into his own half and hits an absolute worldie of a diagonal. Longman can't reach it. It goes over his head. Manning has made a great run in behind and takes it well. Punches in the perfect square ball across the face of goal. Cameron Archer looks certain to score. There's a question some people asked again about whether he was offside. He wasn't. He misses an open goal. But Wrexham's luck doesn't stand because Jack Stevens, playing up front now, as you know, the pressure is on us so much, slides in and from a tight angle on the slide, just like Fraser and Robinson before him, somehow, and I want to be old-fashioned here, how the hell does a centre-back do this? From an almost impossible angle, gets a brilliant contact on it, hits the bottom of the bar, drops down and goes in. It hits Cleworth on the line, but I think the ball's already over the line. It's not as if Cleworth scored an own goal. That shot was in. And he goes crazy, quite rightly. Absolutely astonishing scenes. And Wrexham, well, we've been robbed in the sense that we thought we had something and then we didn't. But you can't say we're robbed in terms of balance of play, although we could have scored more than one goal, let's be honest. It was a hell of a game. And even though I think Southampton showed us a few things that we're going to have to bear in mind, we also showed that we've got an awful lot going for us at this level. Let's hope Kiefer was okay. At the end of the game, I've got to say, I mean, quite naturally, St Mary's was cock a hoop. You know, they've been on such a rotten time of it in the Premier League, haven't they? A run of losses, and a new manager comes in. You can see why Still was so happy. he's now the man who's changed that. He's got them that glorious win. When you would think they might be thinking, oh, here we go again. But having said that, yeah, the Wrexham fans, in the midst of it all, 3,000 Wrexham fans for a 12:30 kickoff in Southampton, who were deafening throughout, and it was a fabulous atmosphere throughout. Even in the midst of the Southampton whole stadium going crazy, their fans, their players, the manager, all having a party. They're blasting Depeche Mode, just can't get enough, a million decibels. Even through all that, on the opposite sides of the ground, I can still hear really clearly all the Wrexham fans singing proudly as their players and the manager went across to acknowledge them. And that was a matter of great pride for me, I've got to say. We lost, but we will make an impact on this division, and that was at least a start. For me, man of the match, Lewis Brunt. I thought Brunt was outstanding. He won so much. I mean, Cody was very good alongside him as well, very composed, and Ward was excellent in goal as well, really impressive. His confidence just coming to take things. Near the end, Kwashi had a long throw in. He put in two in the first half, and they were quite floating near post affairs. They didn't look that threatening. Second half, he suddenly, I don't know whether he just thought I'll try something different or whether adrenaline's coursing through him, but he put it another fairly floaty one, but, beyond the penalty spot to the edge of the 6 yard box. It was a hell of a distance, and it was brilliant. Ward just saw this and realised that, right, okay, he's got more distance on his draw than I think, but it's a bit floaty, and he came and took responsibility. The next one he came and caught it. Ward was very impressive. And indeed, throughout the scene, there were lots of good performances. A loss of Moore hurt us. O'Brien's energy throughout was very impressive. But yeah, Brunt for me just was very pleasing to see one of our players and young players from last season adapt so well to that level, as indeed did Cleworth, although there were a couple of occasions when Fraser troubled him. To be fair, Fraser would trouble anybody. So we lose it 2-1. We go again on Tuesday. It is quite gutting. I've got to be honest, that when I got home and, Sunday morning, I actually felt a bit more down about a football match than I have for quite a long time. Just like, man, I can't believe we got nothing from it. Again, not because of balance of play, but just because of the opportunities we had. But ultimately, there's a lot of positives to take from that. We just played a team that just dropped down from the Premier League, and yeah, we could have scored a few goals and defended stoutly until ultimately the pressure was too much, and quality, let's be honest, quality with the free kick and that finish and the diagonal for the second goal are what undid us. So a shame, a real shame, a massive shame, but we fight on. With a final score of Southampton 2, Wrexham 1, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.